What up? It's the Binge Eater podcast with your boy, the South Bouse, Harley, and I'm here with Donnie Ducats and Lynch. We're holding it down. Attention burger lovers, Shake Shack is coming to Canada. Yeah. Shake Shack's finally coming to Canada. And you know what's funny is I was big on Shake Shack.
The hype on Shake Shack, I mean, I remember specifically us going to New York from business. We probably got Shake Shack a couple times while we were there at least.
Yep, Shake Shack they implemented a system that I thought was really useful that I wish more places had, and honestly, every place should have it if you have a bump in place. They had a camera out front, and you went to a website, and it was like a live stream, and you could see how long the lineup was back when there was one or two Shake Shacks in all of New York, and you would go look. They had a live stream, and you would decide if you wanted to go, if it was worth it to wait in line or not.
Seems like it violates your privacy a bit, though.
Public, you're out in public.
You get caught with the side piece, and
yeah, exactly. That's what I
live in
like that. Like some guys, like, yo, I wonder what the line's like, and they look and they're like, oh, there's that motherfucker. Let's go kick his ass.
You get doxxed, like at the Shake Shack line, waiting for
exactly
those cheese fries, which are fucking great. And listen, guys, if you never had Shake Shack before, it is great. It is awesome. And don't sleep on the Chicken Shack. Their chicken burger's pretty good, but I have no loyalty to them anyway, so fuck them. I don't care if
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
I have to say, like, the problem with these, you know, I like Shake Shack. I like most burgers.
Bro, you love Shake Shack.
No, I don't love Shake Shack.
You love burgers.
No. I'm still like a BurgerFi guy for the most part, I would say. Like for the not BurgerFi. Apologies. I'm still a Five Guys guy.
I was gonna say the last time I had BurgerFi, I was just gonna say to you, it was bad. But I had it in Florida, and I feel like, listen, I'm a piece of shit. I'll post up at the Olive Garden 3 nights in a row. Don't threaten me with a good time. I will fuck up. And so, like, I know in Florida, sometimes it's different. Sometimes I'll have an experience of something. I'll go to a place that's consistently pretty good, or I know what to expect. And I'll go to Florida, and the Florida part of the algorithm just overtakes. It becomes more of a Florida experience more than anything, and it's not right. Nothing was right. I think BurgerFi is not on the level of Shake Shack, and I think Shake Shack and Five Guys compete. People like to put InNOut with Five Guys, but InNOut is more comparable to McDonald's. Five Guys is much more expensive. So is Shake Shack. Five Guys and Shake Shack go head to head. At the end of the day, after the last 15 years of my life, I've loved Fat Burger. I've loved so many burger places. I will give it to Five Guys. Yeah, if there were like one burger that you could have for the next 15 years, like I'm probably going to go with Five Guys.
I'm glad you're saying that, because I've had BurgerFi and I've had Five Guys, but I've never had Shake Shack.
Worth it. It's definitely worth it to try.
Yeah, I've never seen a Shake Shack.
You hate a good time though.
Yeah,
like you get fries and they like. Let me tell you. Yes. Can I talk?
Yeah. Plenty of examples over the last 27.
But I want to say something. This is something that I would say. Like, obviously you love a good time, but like our good times are different. You'll get the cheese fries, and they'll cover every fry in cheese for you. Let's say, or maybe you don't always get good coverage. I don't know. You'll just get the exact amount of cheese that I would have liked to have gotten, and you'll get it, and you'll be like, ugh. Should have got not cheese fries.
Bro, first of all, you should always get not cheese fries and then apply your own. No, but no, you're making all kinds of crazy assumptions here that I wouldn't be happy with some hypothetical cheese distribution. Like, let's go to Shake Shack and then we'll talk.
You said something before that caught my attention that I think is kind of a hot take. You likened oh my God.
InNOut to McDonald's?
Yeah, you liken InNOut to McDonald's. I don't think I've heard someone say that. What's your meaning behind that? Like, what do you mean by that?
It is 2:30 a.m. and you have $6. There's only 2 fast food places that are really going to be open that you can purchase at. Of course, you can go to, like, if there's a Carl's Jr. or a Jack in the Box if you live in LA. I'm sure those are open, but you're not Like you're getting something weird there, like 2 like cinnamon sugar churro balls and a cream cheese dip, because they have those infinite type menus with a million things. But when you're just like cheeseburger, fries, fast food, you have $6. You don't have enough for Wendy's, Burger King. McDonald's they normally keep the price low. Like you do have enough for Taco Bell, but now we're in tacos. So it's like you don't compare InNOut to Taco Bell, but I think you could closer compare. This is a hotter take. You can compare InNOut to Taco Bell better than you can compare InNOut to Five Guys.
That's so interesting. I feel like people hold
Five Guys is like $15 for a burger.
So we're talking like price and time.
I think it's super important. I think price is a major factor.
What if you isolated just quality? Where do you place it?
I just find that very unfair. It's a very unfair thing to do to InNOut personally. I think the InNOut French fries, for example, is not even fair to compare them to Five Guys. Five Guys obliterates them, but the Five Guys fries are literally double the price.
I'm just saying from the burger standpoint.
I think the burger destroys InNOut, but it's like way more burger. When you get the burger at Five Guys, it's 2 burgers. When you want 1 burger at Five Guys, you order the small burger.
And then make sure to show you all those calories too.
Small burger is 1 patty, but if you went to Five Guys, you're like, can I get the cheeseburger? They're giving you 2 patties. That's stock.
Aware. Yeah.
So like
that's my stock order.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about this like over the years, because I found myself constantly comparing InNOut, or I was trying to have this conversation internally or with people in a debate. I'm always like, at the end of the day though, you're comparing a $5-6 meal to a $15 meal.
See, and the reason why I say it's weird to me that you say it, because I feel like people hold InNOut to this like standard, of like quality and how good it is, and like I feel like they are making decisions between InNOut and other places more than just McDonald's, and it's weird for me to like see it like that, because I do like it really holds this high sort of, I don't know, I feel like InNOut's one of those things you just always hear about. You go to California, you got to eat it. It's like the quality is good. I don't know, for some reason I feel like it's got a higher standard to it in terms of what people's perception of it.
What's really another thing, like having lived in LA and being in Canada, hands down 100%, I never would have realized it until I lived in the US for a while. Our food is better. So McDonald's here, I used to be like, oh, McDonald's in the US is trash. No, McDonald's in Canada is good. We have really, really good chicken nuggets. It's not like that in the US. I've had it. I've had chicken nuggets in Israel. I've had it in England. They're really good in Canada.
But I think we also have pretty strict agricultural laws here in a different way, that I don't think you're allowed to pull some of the shit that you could pull in the US, like that pink slime shit. Anyone who doesn't know about that, look up like pink slime chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I had always heard that the meat for Taco Bell was dog like level meat here in Canada, and like, but that could always be like an urban legend. I never went double check that, but truth is, like, I watched that meat get squirted out of a little squirt gun into a taco, and it doesn't look like that here. I've never seen that taco squirt gun. When we had it here, it was like literally it was being removed from a tray. It was like,
it was like a tray of beef.
It came out of a drawer almost, like Big Macs,
The older we get, the weirder that squirt gun looks. It's just like weird. I never really considered it. That's like, oh, we're squirting meat out of a can now. That's perfect.
You were at that level back then. You were like, this is how it's done.
I'm like, it's okay.
These are the tools of the trade.
That's cooking. He's a cook. Yeah, no, I think it comes down to money, because at the end of the day, if you like $15, you can compare, burgers at these crazy restaurants. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure if you went and got like a $40 burger, it's going to be incredible, much better than a Five Guys burger.
But
I've had that burger.
We talk about quality, and it's, you're saying that it's better here than in the US. I don't have as much experience to go off in the US. But I really feel like the difference between...
That's why we're built different.
No, but I mean, like a McDonald's, a Wendy's, a Burger King, I feel like the quote-unquote quality is the same across all of them in terms of like how safe and clean the ingredients are. The rest is kind of just the assembly. You know what I mean?
I do think you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I think McDonald's...
like I think like how much the employee cares. I'm not a big fan of Burger King. When I was in Japan, the employees were in their 30s, and these women made the most like thoughtful Burger King Whopper I've ever had in my life that looked like it's on the menu. They love their job. And I asked when I was in Japan, I was like, well, I'm like, the staff is like so much older than back home. And he was like, oh yeah, when you get a job here, like, you know, you're kind of loyal to it. And you probably work it for a while. And
but Japan fast food just hit completely different.
It did. But and the way they built the burger was, one thing about Burger King is like the mayonnaise on a Whopper is never going to be properly dosed. And yeah,
mayonnaise is the sketchiest condiment. I actually never get mayonnaise at a fast food place.
What's so crazy about the balance of fast food and how much I am to like fucking hating it is, if I love a McChicken, if I open up the McChicken and just for some reason mayonnaise is on the outside of the bun, on the bun, I won't even eat that area if I'm even going to eat this at all. I don't like to see McChicken sauce like thumbed on top of the bun. I'm like, what's going on back there?
I'm like a no sauce, like give me no sauce almost, unless it's like a Big Mac, and I'll apply the sauce myself, because they just, the standards are just completely.
But fucking getting sauce at McDonald's is like pulling teeth. I hate asking for
money.
Sauce.
You gotta pay the cash.
Yeah, that's 35
but
cents.
It's okay, which is fine. Charge me as much as you want, but it seems like they never really want to charge me. So they always want to kind of shortchange me on free sauce. I'm not asking for a favor. If it costs money, fucking tell me. But they're always kind of like, okay, take one. And I'm like, can I have more? And they're like,
oh, bro, like, you're like, can I get sauce? And they're like sweet and sour or honey mustard or barbecue. And you're like, the fuck you mean or?
Right.
Back in 1999, I used to dip one nugget into all of them.
Exactly. You would get a fistful. When you would ask for sauce in the 90s, you would get a fucking fistful. You didn't know what was in there.
And you'd be like, thanks, Amir. Do you think people are down for a worse experience in exchange to, like, would people pay to go to a Blockbuster again and rent a movie, even if you went and the movie you chose or something wasn't something you left with tangibly that you would put in, or whatever it was? I'm just saying, would you do it for these experiences that used to exist? And I asked this because, Donnie, like, I just hooked up that old TV you gave me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to buy a remote for it. I plugged in a Super Nintendo, and I want to plug in a PS1 to it, and I want to have like a shag carpet in this room and no LED lights. If there's a phone, it's a landline. And I want to have this room that's just kind of like straight from someone's basement in 1994.
That's like originally what I was doing with that TV. I had a fucking futon and that TV, and I would watch Simpsons and Seinfeld on DVD. I would watch the seasons on DVD.
You hit on a pain point for me when you were, talking about Blockbuster and would I go and pay, like, would I pay for that experience? And that's something that I want back in my life. I'm sure it's the nostalgia. I'm sure it's just my age and like where I grew up and like what you want. But for me personally, I hate picking movies now. I want to go back to picking movies at the video store. That's what I want, because I feel like I took more chances. I took more risks. I was like way more willing to just pick out something random, or maybe get that recommendation from your,
like, you were gonna watch this shit.
Yes. It was like my intent was way more, because I actually had to get up, go to the store. I may talk to, my regular store I go to, whether it be like Blockbuster or my local video place.
You read the back.
Chat.
You read the back.
Correct.
You picked up, you read the back. You held thumbnail. Two. You held two and read the backs of both back and forth.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
I feel like I discovered way more movies. Now I just like scroll endlessly, and like I can't be convinced.
No, you know what's even worse is, like, I'll scroll endlessly and then I'll finally see something where the description sounds interesting, And I'm like, all right, let's go. And I put it on, and like, no disrespect, but it's Dutch with English dubbed. And I'm like, I don't want your sick movie right now. And maybe one day I do it. And if I rented you from Blockbuster and you were Dutch, like, I'd be like, yo, we got an international movie. Sometimes I put on something, and in six minutes, I'm like, to Netflix or to Amazon Prime. Like, literally,
Amazon Prime is very cringe.
It hits as Amazon Prime. And even The Boys hits like Amazon Prime. I just happen to really enjoy that show, but that is Amazon Prime.
I had a real dad moment. Speaking of movies, I was being impacted by a piece of content ever since becoming a dad, and I was watching Interstellar on Netflix by myself. I was gonna watch 10 minutes and go to bed, and then all of a sudden I'm like,
let me watch 10 minutes of this 3 hour and 50-minute movie.
Yeah,
I was gonna watch it in chunks.
That climax is in the last 5 minutes.
I've seen it, but I've seen it before, so I know the whole thing, But I just was like, I'm in the mood. I'll watch the first 10, 20, 30 minutes, and I'll go to bed. I'm 2 hours deep, and Harley calls me, and I'm sitting there, and my wife's asleep, and I'm just like, I'm almost in tears because now that I watch it now, it's about a dad and his daughter. I'm a dad, I have a daughter, and I was like almost crying. Like, I know that's like a thing. You
almost my ass.
Yeah, you could say crying. Me and Donnie talk about how we've cried. I cry once a week.
I'm crying right now.
Well, I see that.
Over your skinny neck? No, but
so crazy. It's so crazy looking at Donnie right now, just seeing like a half black, half Asian, 6'6" dude with
in
a
shirt
clown
off
wig crying.
Yeah. Why are you crying once a week, Harley? What's
because I just watch good shit, bro. I watch good shit.
Where are you crying? In what universe of the internet are you crying?
Bro, just
what TikTok? TikTok?
TikTok gets you, yeah? Okay.
Okay, so I'll tell you one. Donnie, you might not even want to listen to this.
Is this the fucking dog thing?
Yeah, right. This guy knows. He knows that I know. He knows that I know. So it was just like, it's this like chocolate lab. It's this chocolate lab and this older Chihuahua, and they eat together, but the chocolate lab has this bigger big dog food, but every time the chocolate lab goes to eat, it pulls out like 2 or 3 of its kibble and drops it next to its bowl, and the little dirty rat Chihuahua comes and eats these 3 pieces with him while he eats his food. And then they just show that they always do that, and then it just like the music switches up and it gets all cold and dark, the music, and then it shows how that Chihuahua died. But it shows all the times the chocolate lab is still there, and it grabs 3 pieces of food and drops it next to the bowl as if the Chihuahua's like Eliyahu in spirit. He's going to be there to eat it with him.
And you had a couple tears.
So, like, if I had to do an acting scene that was like an emotional one, I have a couple that are bookmarked. One of them is this great video. It's this 16-year-old kid. I could actually cry sharing it right now. He's this 16-year-old kid, and he's at the guitar store. And he just looks like such a fucking rocker, like in his heart and his soul, but like he just gives off like introverted vibes. And he just looks like he loves music. Now he's kind of like a bit more than that. And he looks like he loves to fucking rock. And he goes to the guitar store with his mom, and the guy who owns it is just like, oh, here. And he pulls out a letter, and the letter's from his dad who died. I don't know how long ago, but maybe from an illness. And he wishes him like a happy 16th birthday. And then the guy pulls out from behind the counter like this fucking sick ass Wild Stallions electric guitar that's like a fucking lime green like fucking triangle. And this like rocker dude kid just fucking breaks down holding this sick ass electric guitar. And I'm just, every time I see him, like, you fucking go and you be the best goddamn guitar player.
That hits hard.
And one more. This one is easy to share because it doesn't sound sad at all. In fact, it's only going to make me sound pathetic after the excellent ones that I just shared. Is this woman goes to like the basketball game and she drops all her drinks and then like gets hit with a ball and it's just embarrassing because everyone sees it. But then like shortly, like LeBron James falls on her and like knocks her over and like picks her up and like hugs her and like has a moment. And then it's like everything else that sucked, you just see in her face. She's just so elated that LeBron James had this moment. It's like everything else didn't matter.
McDonald's commercial.
That ruined it, what you just did to me. I was feeling a lump grow, and I'm like, actually, it is fucking. And then you said that, and you killed it. Realistically, someone's listening, and one of those caught someone.
Yeah.
Hey, like, what are you? Who is it?
Someone's crying.
Who's you crying now, bitch?
Nobody's
Look at you in your car.
Counting.
What are you doing? You're in your car? Oh, where are you? You're at home? It's okay, man. It's okay. I cry also. Yeah.
Yeah, we're being vulnerable right now. We cry too. Listen.
Yeah.
That middle one hit pretty hard though, I gotta say. It might be just because I'm a dad now, but it hits hard. That one's tough.
You ever watch The Dodo? You know that shit?
I'm aware of The Dodo, yeah.
Yeah, The Dodo's what'll take me out if I go down.
You guys do a lot of crying over like animal stuff, eh? That's your main go-to.
I avoid that normally.
I'm not in that algorithm personally, so
I don't want to cry. Just sometimes I open up TikTok and like it'll get me, or someone will send me something.
Yeah, we're getting sentimental in our old age, I say. You know.
Yeah, I hate
like 23-year-old thoughts, boss. You ain't crying, bro. You're like, where's Jack Daniels?
You're crying. You're just not telling Derek about it.
when I was 17, 18, like 16, like I had the internet at such a young age. I remember liking violent content, not like because I want, just because it was shit that I'd never seen. Like it was a dark time when I would watch people die. I had never seen that in my life. Not that I would watch that and that would make crap. I don't watch that now. It's just one thing that I'm like, I see that shit. I'm like, yeah, no. Like I remember seeing like not safe for work or not safe for life tags on things. And I'm like, what are you scared of? Pussy, tits, blood? And now I
not
like
safe
to know.
for life. Not safe for life is a lot nowadays. I walk like a pretty, so I'm still in that fucking stage where I watch really intense things. I don't watch like the crazy gory fucking
you guys are sick
cartel murder shit that's out there. But like I watch a lot of intense shit a lot of the time. And my girlfriend is, and like even when I'm just casually chilling, I'm often watching like police badge cams and like stuff like that. And she's kind of like, why do you watch all this like sad fucking weird shit? And I'm just kind of like, it's because it's the realist thing. It's like it's not that I like watching violence or stuff like that, but I have a thing about watching like reality in a true sense where it's not acted and it's not scripted and it's not written and it's not edited into a thing like a reality show is. It's like, this is like a video of what happened, of something you didn't get to see happen in real life. Now you're getting to see like a different part of real life.
I avoid that. I feel like it's like, I don't need to see it.
I've avoided that for 10 years, but in like 2005, 2006, like I definitely would watch like terrorist videos.
Yeah.
I would go to those websites. I would go to things like it was just different from what was available, and it was weird. And it's how I got to Reddit, was because ages ago I would look at this stuff, and I got to subreddits that were good to detox from watching messed up content.
Eye bleach.
And, things like that. And so but I don't like that stuff anymore. And it's crazy to think that that stuff was so accessible. I feel like I would have a very hard time finding some of the level of craziness that I did get, or maybe I don't know. I literally never look for it anymore. Like I don't know. I know last time I went to Live Leak, and I used to know like this. We're talking like 5 years ago. Like Donnie would send me a link. The only person would be like from Live Leak. I'll get like a text message, a Live Leak link, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'll see like I'll see like Meat Crayon or something in the title. I'm like, fuck, I gotta click it because why would he send it?
Yeah, I usually try not to go like full fucking gore. So even if I'm sending you something, it'll be someone getting hurt, but it's not going to be like you know.
I watch
someone getting hurt is funny.
No, that's the thing. I don't watch.
Someone having the arm go like a meat grinder is not.
No. I don't watch shit like that. I don't do anything that's like overtly bloody or anything like that.
Instagram's given me a reel before.
Like Tom Segura. I got like a crazy.
No, I got like a factory death on Instagram once, like a reel, like someone at a factory, like one of those, and I was
in the lathe.
I was like, I didn't want this.
It's got to be this famous one of like, I think it was a Chinese guy that got caught in a lathe, and he starts spinning.
Yeah, that's it.
He starts spinning, and his body parts are flying off in the air.
It wasn't the first time that I got.
You see it from far.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. The concept is so beyond sickening.
Exactly.
Even us talking about it is like.
No, I stick to the wholesome stuff. I stick to like people slipping on ice and someone filming them as they walk by. And like,
bro, you say you stick to the wholesome things, and then you send me like the most Dr. Huge content.
No, that's different. That's different.
Sure. You're just filling that hole with a different type of content.
You know what's actually so stupid and dumb?
Stupid and dumb.
So stupid and bad. Starbucks had this thing where it was like, you put in your star sign and they're going to give you a drink. And like, say you go on this website and I put in a Cancer, and it's like, you're a color, tranquil teal, your flower, ranunculus, your drink, caramel ribbon crunch, frappuccino, save this chart or order drink. And it's this like graphic designed, it's a whole ass website. And I'm like, bro, no matter how much technology advances or where the conversation goes, they still got to pull shit like this. They still have to drop like 100 or 900K on this whole website and
way more
design. Yeah, it's for sure more than that. It's for sure part of like an entire thing. And they do all this to tell me that my drink based on my sign is a caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino drink. You fucking pussies. No, it's not. None of that's good. But it would have been good if it was like black venti. I would know they're real. I would know they're fucking real. But instead, Donnie did it, and he also got a caramel drink. Sounds like they're trying to move their fucking caramel syrup, bro.
Yeah,
like this entire thing
exists.
Did
you pick afternoon or did you pick
morning?
So I picked
that. Fucking, this is you can literally have a coffee and 6 pancakes with syrup instead of this drink.
I know the meeting they had about this, and they're like, people, it's one thing about the internet that I've never really dived into personally, but I see as something that is like memed or talked about quite a bit, or is like a sort of character, or like a part of what people talk about a lot on the internet is like signs, your sign, you know, like what it means.
Your astrological sign.
The thing is, I've like just happened to be on Tinder in Los Angeles.
Here we go.
This time. So I would, my conversations dating, if you just knew a little of astrology, things were just, there was a whole avenue of conversations that can occur that would be really leading to maybe, you know, encouraging us to be adventurous tonight, like being like, I don't know, a Pisces and a Cancer, 2 water signs at night on a quarter moon. You have to come back to my place. I just have a feeling something is gonna be, there's gonna be moisture.
This is how you end up fucking a girl. This is how you end up fucking a girl with a toe ring.
Hey, I'd rather a toe ring than fucking a no girl with a no ring. Anyways, I went deep in that, and then you go even deeper. I got to the point where I was like, balls deep in this shit that like, if someone was like, what's your sign? I'm like, what's your moon? And what's your sun? And what time were you born at? And I'd be like, interesting. When was the last time you really corrected your chakras? You want to open them up with me right now? Let's head on to the grass and stomp the grass barefoot. I think we should get grounded right now. Hug a tree, stomp the grass barefoot. And then we're going to go buy 4 different types of whole foods and eat them each individually in a row. No expectations. Let's see how we feel after that.
Wow. And what did the men say that you were meeting with?
Well, the men, actually, for your information, identify as not men, and they were way hotter than any girl you've ever been with. So let's just say I was a ranunculus.
Talking shit about my sign, by the way, like I am a Capricorn. I do know what it is. So it's all, all right. And it tells me that I'm tenacious, resourceful, and
bro,
capable.
You a Capricorn. You go get capped in the morn.
Shout out to Starbucks. Shout out to a caramel macchiato, motherfucker.
No, they gave me iced Americano, which they're very wrong about. That's not my drink.
It's a way better drink than what I got. I'll tell you something. I know enough about signs to feel a way about Capricorns. Like Capricorns and Cancers don't vibe that well. Like it's like either like a big yes or a big no, and they differ in the ways that you and I literally differ, that are like blatantly obvious.
Oh, in real life,
even things like I would sit at home and order something to my shell, my home, my crab shell. I stay in here. It's good vibes in here. Bring the food here. I don't care about that. A Capricorn like would very much care about the quality of what they're consuming. Like Capricorns do like finer things. They do like things like that you like. They do like a higher quality. Like Capricorns, like I think of snobby like right away. Like they might be, and it's all bullshit. That's the thing. Really? Remember, it's all bullshit.
You think I'm a snob? Come on, bro.
No, I'm saying Capricorns are.
But I'm a Capricorn.
Yeah. But I also like it is also bullshit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because Harley goes out a lot and travels a lot for someone who's like obsessed with staying in their shell.
Yeah,
I have to though.
Stay in his shell a lot though. He has no choice.
I have to.
You don't have to go to these fucking bullshit DJs you go to at 2 in the morning on a Wednesday.
That's actually
but now that he's the sauce boss, like
but the signs. The thing is, the stars and the signs and the days are not exactly aligned with when it was first charted. Remember, this is all bullshit. So the days have shifted. I am technically
you pissed someone off,
and this was a big deal. This was a big deal when I saw this because a lot like came together, even though it was all bullshit. Was that I actually am a Cancer Leo cusp, and that makes a lot of sense.
A Cancer Leo cuck?
It's pronounced cuck. It's pronounced cuck.
What? Cusp?
Cusp,
okay.
Yeah.
Cuck or cusp? Cusp.
Both. Okay. Cuck. I am on the cusp of cuckery, that's for sure.
Sure. Okay.
Every moment of every day.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Capricorns are hard for you to relax, emotionally reserved, married to your job, super critical. You have a 5-year plan for every part of your life, and high standards when it comes to things like friends, dating, or possessions. Now, bro, it's all bullshit, but that's really funny to those listening. That is very accurate for Lynch. Which is, and it is, I do think it's all bullshit because you could say things like, if I had read you're married to your job, I'd be like, I am, but not in the way that he is, truthfully. Like it is like that, like, and it's hard for you to relax. Like that's so funny.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, they are kind of nailing it.
Okay, so do me. Okay,
what is it?
Tell us your sign.
I'm an Aries.
Oh,
I knew it, bro. The second. What is typical Aries behavior? Are driven by desire to prove themselves and their strength. How do you feel about that right off the bat?
Not very.
Really?
Not very tied to it.
Not really tied to proving yourself and your strength.
What feats of strength am I trying to demonstrate?
I think you're looking at strength in a black and white, like strong type of thing, but strength can be like, this could be translated.
Oh no. So people that aren't Aries.
And bro, I believe you. All this is bullshit. Trust me, I know, bro. But it's just like for BJ's. That's why I did it. But it's bullshit.
But it's like saying that people that aren't an Aries want to do bad and prove that they can't do well. And if they like,
we're not talking.
How is it unique?
We're not talking about them. We're not talking about them.
No, but I'm not. I'm saying, how is it not? How is it unique?
But that was one sentence. Let's see what else we got here.
Oh, my phone's ringing. Keep going. Actually, I'll
sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, bro.
Oh. Now I just heard it.
Very Capricorn vibes. So you have high energy, are competitive and ambitious.
Okay.
See, I agree with you. Your noise there. I don't like when it just says 3 good things. Everyone's like, "You're right, I am ambitious. I do have high energy." They naturally take.
Like you're
they naturally
10% more. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I do think these even kind of relate to him a little bit, but that's besides the point. I don't want to stick on everything.
I think they relate to you too.
The next one, they naturally take charge because they're good at initiating new projects. Who's the trip planner every time?
Oh shit!
Who's the trip planner?
Not always.
Okay, but who likes to take charge though? Because they're good at it.
A lot of gotcha moments going on.
And the next one, they can also be impatient. And
that,
like time,
I'm very
the amount of times he's naturally taken charge because he was good at initiating a new project and abandoned it because he was impatient. And then also are naturally active. You're one of the most naturally active guys from the jump, bro.
Right.
This is crazy.
Okay. So it's like
you want the weaknesses?
couple of very
you want the weaknesses? You want the weaknesses?
Let's go. Let's go.
Aggressive. Okay. Self-centered. Hey, how'd mine get in here? Blunt.
What?
Aggressive, blunt, pushy, bad-tempered.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
imagine I had nothing in front of me and I was just saying shit about you guys that I knew. Like that, I'd be like, yeah, it says that.
I was thinking that, but I was also thinking we should be calling our significant others or exes and be like, listen, we're doing a quick sign check here. This is how they describe Donnie, or this is how they describe Lynch. Tell me, do you think this is this person, and have a full assessment of it? That would be so good. Do you think your exes would agree with these statements that were just made?
I think that over 50% of all the traits we could read from each sign apply to any of us.
But maybe
so. I think it's a very a broken clock is right twice a day. This stuff is like,
don't use that.
But also, like,
okay, no,
the thing.
Don't use the saying, but use the stars.
Like, here's another thing. Here's another thing, because and this is the truth. This is this is why this stuff is like bullshit. Or the things that I see is like, if I were to look up mine, like what we were saying, we were talking about how I said the crab shell thing. Like, what's interesting is I could read it, and it could say that I am introverted and shy. And that's the opposite, right? However, in my head, I'll be like, I am. And I always fight against it. I work so hard to not be introverted and shy, which is true.
That's called a
but
post hoc rationalization. You can rationalize it any way to make it fit. Oh, I am that way,
these are
but it's
like
a little different.
Yeah, these are like that.
I mean, isn't that kind of the secret to... And this is where we get
the secret to the secret.
No,
don't get me started.
This is like hot reads and cold reads, and how people sort of like will do not like palm reading or different types of sort of like readings.
Yeah,
they're
a medium.
The signs you're putting off, and also like you are like willing to participate and grab onto what information serves you best in that moment. And that's why it's all kind of bullshit, because it is. Your brain is really good at like finding
cognitive biases. There's a whole bunch of them. First of all, when you go to a fucking medium, I can't believe, or a palm reader or fortune teller,
Donnie, you always got these answers in terms, and I can't believe it. Like, you might be the first person I know who graduated from the University of Reddit. It's crazy.
I read a lot.
I know
books.
You read a lot. You do read a lot, and you probably are a very fast reader.
Dude.
So given that, I'm sure you read Reddit very fast also.
I don't even look at smart shit on Reddit, though. Reddit, I'm looking at
because they're all reposts. You got them already. You already did it. You graduated. You're like Van Wilder.
Saved. Thought he pulled up his save tabs he's got going on. He's like, oh, let me
read
this term.
Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman to learn about cognitive biases.
I've actually read it. I have read it.
Did you actually?
Years ago. I did, yeah.
See, that's what's crazy is like if I said that, like it's a joke, obviously, but you did read that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a very...
Why don't, just to make up for the fucking dumbass, stupid bullshit I was yammering on about the stars, what is that you guys both read? You guys read this book. Listen, you got an audience. Maybe someone else should read it. Is this a recommendation here?
It's a big recommendation.
It was a very, very like was a big book. Very.
What's it called?
People Thinking Fast and Slow.
What's it about?
Dude, I read it a long time ago, like many moons ago. This is like.
It's basically, well, I guess it's
like how to interpret things, how to approach like problems, how your brain works.
Yeah, how your brain works.
Yeah, basically, systems in your brain are constantly fighting over control of your behavior and actions. It teaches you the many ways in which this leads to errors in memory, judgment, and decisions, and what you can do about it. Sounds like it's for me.
So basically the main thesis was like there's system 1 and system 2 thinking. I forget the order of which one was labeled, but you have sort of an automatic thought, and then you have the frontal lobes that do a lot of the thinking,
fast, intuitive, and emotional versus the slower, more deliberative and logical.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But that extends out into all these consequential ways.
And to those listening, by the way, I don't know. I didn't read this book. Donnie and Lynch did. I was just reading a thing here as he's talking. I didn't want anyone to think that I was really good at putting into words what you were saying.
There. So I actually wanted to get this other guy as a guest who I read his book a long time ago, and he has this YouTube channel and this newsletter that I happen to read. The book's called The Obstacle is the Way. For sure, Donnie must have read this one. Come on.
Nope.
That one falls under like the thinking fast and slow for me. But it was written by this guy, and he has like a stoicism channel now. Like
what's his name?
He's like Ryan Holiday. I was
what
like,
do they call him? Is he the Daily Stoic?
Yeah, that's his whole business there. And he wrote that's his book, and I read that book, and like recently, over the last few years, like I found his YouTube channel. I've watched, like I got lost in some sort of like YouTube hole of like his content, and like I have his Daily Stoic thing that comes into my email just to be reminded that literally we're going to be dust, and like any problem I have is just not really like worth like fretting over, I guess is the best way to put it. Like I find as someone who's obsessive compulsive, in order for me to manage my like sort of obsessive anxiety that happens with like stress, I have to remind myself daily that literally like most of this shit is just like, yeah, like you got to do your best always, but like never let something be so big that it like fucks up your whole life or like makes you go and think the wrong way or do something like that's detrimental to yourself, because like for the most part it's just like bullshit. As someone who like will assess what I say to people, think very clearly about what my intentions are when I talk, even though I'm doing this podcast, which is, by the way, completely out of my character, like 100%. This is not something that I would normally do. Harley has been slowly convincing me to like be comfortable. And in fact, is like watching him has made me more comfortable in terms of like what I'm willing to do. And it's a long way to say that like that is something that has helped me learn that like a lot of the emotion that gets tied up in just like regular day shit that happens to you is like not worth being stressed out about or being anxious about, unless it's something like, obviously, you know, look, for me, I'm saying me personally, that's how I operate nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Did you read this book? Because the only reason why I asked, because everything you're saying sounds really useful, like it had been useful to you. And this book is a related book, and it just has a ton of reviews, called Atomic Habits.
I have, yeah.
By James Clear. You read that book?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what really interesting about this book is, and this is what's so funny about when the whole like Andrew Tate thing came up and people were like, but he says good things. I remember that was a thing that people would say to me in defense of him.
All the time,
like, but he says good things. And like, it's like, yeah, you know, if someone were to go on and on, I'm sure they're going to say something maybe that's inspiring or motivating at some point, or that is good, or that isn't inherently bad. But there's just so many sources where you can get like pure, raw, uncut, potentially good behavior changing advice or something like that. And I was just looking at these books that you guys were talking about. I have an Amazon Prime account. I realized like I have all of these for free with Audible. Like these are all I literally have them. It's the audio book.
There's like a tipping point to these kind of books though. Like there's a utility to it. And usually when I read a book like that, I take like one or two things and then I forget most of it. That's usually how my brain will absorb stuff. I'll learn something from it, and then like I'll hold on to that probably forever. But like a lot of it just sort of gets dropped.
Well, I like, and it's funny because it's such a funny book now, but it was useful to me at one point, but frequently bought together. was Thinking Fast and Slow, Atomic Habits. Donnie, did you ever read Atomic Habits?
Yeah.
And the 48 Laws of Power.
I knew you were going to say.
But that's so weird that that's there, because I don't like just reading what these books are about. I don't put the 48 Laws of Power on
they
their
collaborate
list. And I liked that book at one time. 48 Laws of Power was low key kind of like my Andrew Tate. In the sense that it is kind of similar to that, where it was like, yeah, there's a book here and there are good things said, but fundamentally at its core is this isn't really how you want to operate in the long run with the people that are going to be close to you in life. But anyways, aside from that, it's usually something that'll be a hook that gets me. And this Atomic Habits one is just really interesting what it just says here. It's the 4 laws of behavioral change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. There's a version of every habit that can bring you joy and satisfaction. Find it. There are no good habits or bad habits, only effective habits. And success is the product of daily habits, not a once-in-a-lifetime transformation. Having said that, I totally like that hits for me. That there's a version of every habit that can bring you joy and satisfaction. There were things like training for boxing or, eating better, finding the things like to make me want to eat, or the things to find little joys in certain things, flavoring my food differently with spices that I never use, just something to like make this habit more of a thing. For example, going to the gym was hard, but if I spent the time making a playlist and collecting music that is really motivating to me, that playlist, when I'm like, I should go to the gym, I'll put on my headphones at home. That gets me in. It's like, that's just a version of that habit that could bring, and that's just my shallow version, has nothing to do with this book. I didn't read a page of it. I'm just saying this one line here speaks to me. So I want to check this one out.
I do have something that I want to ask you, Harley. And, so we've kind of addressed it, but like now there's more content coming out, like through our channels and stuff like that, through your stuff, where like you really have gone through this massive transformation, over the last, I don't know. I think like we have a video of you where I think we do like a video where you're like super fat. You're like, I got fat, and like we're joking, we're making jokes, it's funny, but ultimately like you did, like you were over 300 pounds. You were like extremely unhealthy. This is like peak pandemic vibes, peak pandemic here in with the lockdowns in Canada and everything. How did you finally like break through, and like what kind of advice, like I feel like we're giving advice right now, what kind of advice can you impart on people who are like clearly are struggling with this? Because I think we all, other than Donnie, like I know you and I have both been this up and down type thing. And so how were you able to finally do it? Like what got you to that place?
What I think was really probably the most discouraging thing to hear to anyone listening about this, looking back, and I'm just assessing it right now and scrutinizing it, is that the false starts never stopped. And because of pandemic, there was this unique scenario where for one full year, probably the false starts did stop. And that's why I fell off so hard. Pandemic allowed a lot of people to fall off in an enormous way that you just wouldn't have any other, like you wouldn't have been at home and got money from the government and been like, Uber Eats is like not charging delivery and everyone's watching fucking, the same movies. Yeah, Tiger King. Like this whole thing, like, so it made for a special recipe, and I would definitely acknowledge that. But when that didn't happen, and the last time I was fat and I got my shit together, was that the false starts should never stop. I don't care who makes fun of you. If it's fucking the 18th Sunday in a row and you're like, tomorrow I start, then good. Never lose the grip, because I know from pandemic, and I know from watching a lot of fat person content, because I love it, is that you can fall off and not give a fuck. And I understand, mental health is a thing, and maybe someone is depressed. There's a whole other thing. And, like, listen, if you're putting on a lot of weight, you might be depressed. There might be something you should go potentially seek help. Maybe you are depressed. Maybe there's a medication for your depression that actually will make you care about eating better. Who knows? I don't know. But if you're just a regular, or like if you're a typical person and you're like me and you just love picking out and fucking up, don't let go of that false start, that you're going to start again. And it might be a false start. And I'm not saying get comfortable with all your false starts, because they are embarrassing. And it is humiliating when you tell someone, you see someone and you're 15 pounds heavier, and the last time they saw you, you were like 2 pounds less, and you're like, yeah, I've been pretty good for a day. And I know how that feels, but you gotta stick with it. And I did have the boxing match, which I had to train for. But you know what? Looking back at it all is picking up that fun skill. Going back to like what the book said, was there was a version of that habit of me getting in shape, and boxing was that. Learning the skill was fun. There are things that could be fun that you could do, like, you know, putting together a playlist, running, whatever it is. Don't give up on the idea that you're not going to give up. And I'm like such a big, I'm a big believer in like, yo, today you fucked up your eating, but you drank a lot of water. That is a good step, and I'll take it, because there's 365 days in a year. And if you took this entire year to slowly get started so that you hit the next year, the ground running, like that's fine. If you did that, you know, I think you just have to not give up. And I did give up during pandemic. Everyone did. Lots of people did. Man, those people that fucking did it, the people that got ripped during pandemic, craziest people I know.
Yeah.
I was like, we're all out here getting fucking fat watching Tiger King, and you were doing resistance bands and fucking pull-ups and kettlebell, Donnie. Who were you mad at, bro?
I got into Pavel Tsatsouline. Started watching a bunch of Russian content before it was controversial.
Pavel Tsatsouline. If someone is listening and they are fat and they're fucked up, would buying a 5-pound kettlebell and doing what he says, would that be a great start? Or is that jumping in too early?
Honestly, I'd start with a 35, a 26 if you're very, very weak. Well, if you're weaker, start with a 26. If you have, you know, some upper body strength, start with a 35 and go on YouTube and type in "enter the kettlebell" and check out Pavel Tsatsouline.
And one thing about kettlebell, guys, if you bought a kettlebell, like, they really don't deteriorate. So if you bought a 26-pound and then you got stronger, you could sell that. Like, you could literally sell it, maybe take like a hit, small hit, but like,
you're still going to use it.
Honestly. Yeah, you would. One-handed stuff, all that.
That's it. Like, I've moved up and I still use my lighter kettlebells to warm up. And it's, and sometimes if you want to
kettlebells. Really?
I used to do kettlebells.
Did you?
I mean, I pretty much tried. I've dabbled in almost all fitness programs, I would say. Like, I think Donnie and I were texting back and forth, and like, I will just buy programs. Like, you know, like I've bought like Athlete Next. I've bought Knees Over Toes. Like, you know, I've tried a bunch.
No, Peak Lynch. Peak Lynch is standing on the exercise ball doing alternating hammer curls, alternating bicep curls while standing on an exercise ball.
Yeah, exactly. That was
straight legs,
standing.
Yeah,
fully standing on an exercise ball and doing biceps.
That was my gym trick. I could like do all that kind of weird.
Yeah, and he was also high with his shirt off.
I wish we had pictures from.
Sounds like me in my living room.
That's in your living room. You're Pavel Tsatsouline.
Well, you did say something like you're kind of describing like little wins, but you know, even further than that, like you
little Winstrol,
but you did. Well, you didn't get to where you wanted to at the first fight. Like, we talked about this a lot, right? We did, you know, we were filming and we were doing stuff. You were going to box, which, you know, I mean, there's no bigger motivator than knowing you're going to like be taking your shirt off in front of a bunch of people and like boxing someone. And even with that pressure, you weren't able to get to your, like, what you wanted to be. Like, you know, like that's so crazy that it took you like the next fight.
I didn't dial in the food the first time. I was doing crazy cardio and I was eating like halfway good how I knew, but I didn't do the strict thing. I didn't really.
That's how hard it is mentally, though. That just even that you had a fight.
So once you do it, no, but like once you do it, it's easy. I just didn't do it. I just didn't think. It was until I started measuring really clean food and comparing it to what else you eat. And it's like when I thought about how like, oh, you ate well, you were in a caloric deficit. Cool. Well, now you decided to have a cheat meal and you ate this or that this weekend. And truth is, like, your body's starving. So all of that food like literally went to that weird pouch right below your belly button and filled up from there drastically because you were starving. Your body's just not, your body's a sponge right now. And I used to fuck up. I used to like, I would like eat well for like 5 days and then fuck up on the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the classic move. Did you think that your body would bounce back as well as it has?
No, I thought my like skin would be looser. Like it's not perfect, but I thought it would be looser. Looks like I was about to pull my shirt up or something and start shaking.
I thought you were. I was actually, all right, let's go. Let's see the
next week.
We're actually, next week. No, we are in the process of
taking our shirts off.
Well, actually,
everyone's got a joke.
Yeah, we are in the process of like producing this sort of part 2 docu-series that we're doing because Harley is boxing in 3 weeks. And so we've been working hard to sort of pull all that together. And part of that will be like a real dive into sort of where you're at. I'm like looking at, so I've been going through old footage, like looking at stuff that we shot in the Toronto apartment. And it's just really wild. Like I had this this TikTok or this video I found on my phone, like of you. And it's just like so funny. Like we're just we're laughing, like we're having a good time. And that's the one thing, like, you're fat as hell. I'm fat as hell. Like we're having a good old time. But like deep down, we're like, damn, I wish I could break this fucking cycle right now.
Yeah, because there's a lot of fun parts about just like accepting fatness. Like there is an enjoyable aspect of like eating what you want for lunch, dinner, and a dessert and a snack, and like being like, hell yeah, it's just. Then you wake up and you're like, bro, what's with my tits right now? And like that hurts. And like sometimes like I'd wake up and I'd be like ready to get out of bed. And I'd be like, I don't want to take my fat fucking body out of bed right now.
I don't want to see gravity work on it.
Like, it's almost like I would push it away. And then like every like 4th day or something, or when I go to like the next 5 pounds or something, I'd be like, bro, look at this shit. What the fuck am I doing? Or I'd wake up and be like, yo, and I wouldn't be full. And like, maybe like Julie's like, you want to get breakfast? And I'm like, I'm full. Cause like 5.5 hours ago, I ate a whole pizza. And then slept, and it's still like it's not even down my throat. All it's in my chest.
Right.
Like there's pizza all the way here, like in my gullet, all the way through my intestines, like at the front door of my asshole.
You're like breathing.
It's all pizza through the whole
like
my body.
Pancakes,
and I wake up. Yeah, she's like, you want? And I'm like, pizza. And she's like, yeah, but it's pancakes or something or French toast. I'm like,
you're the heartburn currently active. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're just breathing through a pepper.
I actually think it's like 10 minutes later that you feel there. It's like such instant gratification feeling. Like you eat something and you're like, oh, that was fire. Like, and like you and I have the same sickness.
Some people shut that off though. I think some people are just super fat and they like shut that off. Like I think it's a good time to be like, yo, it's not too late. I was mad fat. Like it's really not too late. Like you might be shut off. You might be like, I don't give a fuck. And you know what? There are many times where I may have gone like 2 weeks at a time being like, I don't give a fuck. And I didn't. And there's a lot to enjoy. And there was like deals on food. And like, it's like pathetic how addicted to food you could actually be. But like, it's fucking great. It's great. And like just don't fully give up. Don't fully like drop it. Like no matter how fat you are. All right, that's the Binge Eater podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out to Donnie Duckets and Lynch holding it down. Put that knife away. No knives on the podcast. And guys, thank you for listening. Trust no one except us. And holler at your boy. Holler back.